What we make are clones or quasi-originals, and the clone or quasi-original is a book that reproduces the manuscript entirely. In other words, we reproduce the binding with its engravings and all its details. We reproduce the flyleaf, changing the paper when they are made of another type of paper. But above all, we also reproduce any stains, creases, the effect of aging and the passage of time. We make the first edition, the first and the only, as they are unique and unrepeatable editions, and they are numbered and limited to 987 copies. I make 987 so that there are less than 1,000 copies, so that the print run is small, a highly limited print run. And this means that someone who has one of these copies has something that will go up in price over time. It is the first and only edition in existence. But especially what most characterizes a clone or quasi-original is its chromatic faithfulness to the manuscript. In other words, the aim of the clone or quasi-original is to pass for the manuscript, to have it beside you and not be able to tell the difference between them. There is total innovation. We photograph the original digitally, with software created solely and exclusively for us. Our printing system is completely innovative. We print everything with stochastic screen, and we also mix techniques. For example, we use embossing, offset, stenciling and screen printing simultaneously, a series of elements that make it possible to do work that is manual in many of its parts and innovative. Manual, yes, but based on the most modern technology to enable this to be done. Making a clone or quasi-original is a very long process. In a manuscript there is a chromatic range, a palette of paints that used to be made with natural pigments, and each one of these pigments, each one of these chromatic ranges has to be reproduced exactly the same. We can say that making a book like these, with all its pages, takes at least 1.5 years, from the time we start the process until we have the clone or quasi-original in our hands. They are not expensive. Let's just say they have a cost. The process is very laborious, very long, and you have to consider that anyone who has one of these works has a treasure. We have manuscripts ranging in price from €1,500 to €20,000. It depends on the codex, the size, the number of pages. When we take images, they must be taken from the original. We do that in the British Library, the Metropolitan, the National Library of France, the National Library of Russia, or the museum holding it. No works leave there, as they are genuine treasures and they are not allowed to be taken out. The binding also has its difficulties, as it is worked by hand. All marks of identity of the original are respected. In this case, that is a symbol of Napoleon Bonaparte. And here, for example, we have the title, Falsa with 12th century images. The private market, which is our most important public, must have a high cultural level. It must have a taste for this. That's a common characteristic, that it values this.